I'd like to take a few moments to talk to you a little bit about loop shapes. What is a loop? A loop is the shape of the line as it overtakes the rod tip after the stop. So if you make a cast and you stop the forward motion of the rod, as the fly line overtakes that rod tip and goes forward, it creates a certain shape. That shape tells you a lot about what you did during that cast. For example, if your rod tip, if this is considered a rod, and here's the fly line, this shape tells me that when I made the cast, my rod tip went in a much of a dome shape direction to get from point A to point B. If my shape looks more like this, if the line takes a more efficient shape looking like this, directing all that energy forward, or a lot of that energy forward, it tells me that I made a more efficient cast by bending that rod appropriately during the cast, so that the tip of the rod traveled in more of a flatter trajectory from point A to point B. Now there's a third type of loop that's called a tailing loop here, and it's when the top leg of the loop dips below the bottom leg, and when it does that, it crosses, and if you have enough time in the cast for that loop to continue out, that loop, that fly will eventually go through that loop and create a knot, affecting your distance and your accuracy and the strength of the line. And when you throw a tailing loop, it tells you that sometime during the cast you misapplied power and the tip of the rod traveled below the straight line path of the rod tip. So what do we mean by the straight line path of the rod tip? If we made a back cast, if this rod is the position of the rod on our back cast, and this is the position of the rod on the forward cast after we make a forward cast, the tip of the rod would be, say, is point A. The tip of the rod here at the forward cast would be point B. If we draw a straight line, that's our SLP, or straight line path of the rod tip. If for some reason our rod tip traveled below that straight line path, so the path of the rod tip went relatively flat, or in a slight dome, but very, very slight, and then dipped down, and it dipped down below the straight line path, the SLP, that's showing you here that it dipped down, and then it came back up. That causes our tailing loops. You correct them by finding out what you did wrong in the first place. What caused that rod tip to dip down below? It could be that you misapplied power during the haul. It could be that you ripped the line off the water and threw shock waves in that rod tip, causing it to dip. So there are a number of reasons why we throw tailing loops. We want to try to fix those when we can. I'm going to have a video later coming out that's going to talk to you about tailing loops in more detail. But again, this is part A of what are our loop shapes, what they look like, what causes loop shapes to look like this. We're going to go out and actually do the video now, part B, to show you in real time what your loops look like. I'm Keith Richard, Master Casting Instructor with A Hero USA. Consider becoming a friend of A Hero USA. Thank you.